Okay guys, today we're drawing the snowman, making a snow angel, and we're going to be using some shading. You guys get to use color, and I'm going to walk you through how I did that, but I just wanted to point out this is what you call a value study, where even though I'm planning on using color, I kind of came through and did some shading to see how it looked with different values, okay? So this is meant to be the snow and our snow angel, and we're going to have a little bit of perspective with our snowman because we're looking up at him like this, all right? And let's just get into it, okay? So we'll leave that right there where we can see it. Here is what you're gonna have. You're gonna have your 3 snowman pieces, okay, already drawn for you. That just helps you get the size and proportion correct. That way, if you were drawing it, you wouldn't draw it teeny tiny or really big in the picture, okay? So we're gonna start and we're gonna do his hat first. Let's start at the top. Now I'm gonna draw this kind of hat. If you wanna draw more of like a top hat, okay, it would be basically the same thing with a rectangle on top, okay? So I'm gonna come across the top here and give him a band. Now we're drawing in pencil and then we'll trace in Sharpie, okay? And then I'm gonna give him the top of his little hat. I'm doing a beanie. And give him his little circle at the top, okay? That is something you have to do, all right? So now let's work on his face, okay? So the center of his face is kind of right here. Don't draw this line, but I'm gonna draw it so you can kind of see it. It's right here. There's the center of his face, okay? So what we wanna do is right there in the middle, we're gonna draw our carrot nose. You can make it really big. On this one, it stays inside of the face. On this one, I'm going to give him a bigger carrot nose. So it's a triangle with a curved line back here. Curving it makes it look more rounded. And then if you want to, you could draw a few of these little lines, but you don't have to. And then you can give him any kind of eyes that you want to. He could have closed eyes. He can have dot eyes. It can be a girl and she can have eyelashes. I just do little dots. On this one, I gave him little eyebrows. You don't have to do that. And then the mouth. On this one, I gave him a smiley mouth. Maybe you want little dots for mouth. Up to you. Okay, so work on your face. All right, next we're gonna do a scarf. So what I'm gonna do, if this is the circle for his body, the scarf is gonna come to a point here and across and to a point here. So it goes from side to side like this, okay? Now, if you don't want there to be these little hangy things, you don't have to. Or if you want them to come off to the side here, you could do something like that. It might interfere with his little arms, okay? But you can figure that out. I'm gonna do it where it comes down like this. There's 1, there's 2. And then I came through and I gave them stripes. And what that does is these will then be stripes rather than having to erase. And now his little stick arms, I gave him like really stick looking arms. You can throw more stick pieces in there if you want to. But what I'm gonna do on this one is I'm gonna keep them really simple. I'm gonna give him 2 arms, one up like this. Because you know, when you're making your snow angel, right, it's like this kind of motion, all right? So I'm gonna throw them up like this. Now, to make it look like those arms are coming out of the snow, I'm gonna do the snow, like his body. I'm gonna do these 2 little lines right here. You see how that makes it look like they're going into the snow? And then I'm gonna give him a couple little stick fingers at the top. He's throwing his hands in the air like he just don't care. Okay, we're almost done with all the details that you need to have. All right, so we do need some little feet down here, and I gave him boots. I did try little stick feet, but they didn't look very good. So boots are pretty easy. All right, it's gonna be 2 lines out like this with 1 line longer. And then you connect them like that. So a short line, a long line, and connect them. Now I am gonna erase this line here because we don't want that there. And then I'm gonna draw this line right here because that makes it look like the boots are going into the snow. It'll be the same over here. Short line, longer line, and then a little curved foot. This toe's a little shorter than this toe. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then a curved line right there. Now, as far as your snowman goes, those are the basics that you need, okay? You could, if you wanted to, come through and do some little buttons. I'm gonna make these smaller, like they're going farther away. And this one's up close a little bit, so it's gonna go bigger. Okay, so now we're gonna draw with our pencil these lines right here. While we're still working on pencil, we're gonna draw these. And these are like the snow angel lines, all right? We are gonna come back and shade those, so I want them to be kind of light, and we're not gonna trace these in Sharpie. I know mine on this one are, but we're not gonna trace those in Sharpie. So what we're gonna do is start with his head, and for his head, I like to do just like a little rounded section right here that comes down but doesn't come back across. It's almost like a little pillow. Then we're gonna bring it up and out and back in like it's around his arm here. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. This arm's a little higher, so it's gonna come up and out and back in. Wherever it is, that's where you're doing it. And then we want this to come kind of down and close to the body. And then we want to do the little feet. You can, if you want to, make this part straight. Usually there's like kind of an upward motion there, but if it ends up straight, that's okay. Or you can make it more rounded too. Okay, we're not tracing this outside part in Sharpie because we want that to be a little bit more subtle, but we are gonna trace our guy in Sharpie. You can use a skinny Sharpie or a regular Sharpie, but I wanna show you something. You see these little lines right here? Those are lines for motion. And then these are called expression lines. So when I trace, let me show you expression lines. I like to add extra lines like that. And those are called expression lines. So if you want to do some of those, you can, but you don't have to. But you do need to do these little motion lines. So for example, this arm, these two arms and these two legs, they're doing this motion, right? So to show that, you're gonna do 2 lines like this and 2 lines like this, and that shows motion, okay? So you're gonna trace in Sharpie, and then you're gonna come back, and I'll show you the next step for coloring. Okay, guys, so remember, we traced our snowman in Sharpie, but we did not trace our snow angel in Sharpie. Now, you're gonna be using your twistables. You can either use crayons, or you can use the colored pencils. I'm gonna be using just regular crayons, okay? But the twistables I find are easier to work with, so that's why I'm giving you those, all right? And you wanna find like a blue. You can find a light blue, a medium blue. All right, let me just show you. This one's like a blue-green. That one might be too green. This one's a regular blue. That would work okay. And blue makes a really good color to shade snow with. A lot of artists use blue for snow shading. So I'm gonna try these 3. I like this one. This blue is the blue I'm gonna use, okay? And what we wanna do, if we look at our value study, is out here on the edges of the snow, it's gonna be darker. And then in here, it's gonna be lighter, okay? So that's gonna make it look like you've got depth in your snow right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press hard and I'm gonna put a shadow out here along the edge of my snow. Now you see how I'm doing dark, and then I'm gonna do a layer of light, and then it's white right here, okay? Same thing here. I'm gonna do a dark shadow. I'm shaking the whole table. And then I'm gonna do kind of a light shadow. Right here under his boot, I might do another dark shadow. And you can do that too, like right here by him. I'm gonna do another dark shadow. So the shading is gonna create this depth that we're looking for. It looks like something has some depth to it. But you have to have darks and lights. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna do dark and some light. Dark and light. Okay, you guys finish out your dark and lights. And then come back. Okay. Now, the only other thing that we need to shade is our snowman himself, okay? So our snowman he's white, but we're gonna put some shadows right here along the edge. Now, you could use a pencil. Let me just kind of show you on this one what that would look like. You can put a shadow right here, and you can kind of smear it if you want to. I'm gonna put a little shadow right here too. Okay, just for a little shading. Or you can try using your crayon or your twistable, but you want it to be really light, like this. Okay, so I'm gonna show you like that with these two. So you can use your pencil or you can use your crayon. I'm gonna make it match and do my crayon here too. Okay, now the rest of this, you're gonna just color. If you want to, you can see on here, I have some shadows out here. And all I did to do that was I took my crayon and I did some of these shadows. Like there's shadows in the snow, but they're really light. They're not scribbles. They might look a little scribbly to you, but I'm not coming around and being like, ooh, right? That's a scribble. All of my strokes match. I'm taking my time and making sure they look good and they're nice and light. And that's gonna make it look like there's snowbanks out here. So the rest of this, you get to just color with your twistables, except for your snowman body. Just leave your snowman body white. And I can't wait to see these. Hope you guys enjoyed this. It's kind of a cool perspective and shading unit. Okay, and here's my finished little guy. A lot of people think you have to have extra fancy supplies to do good artwork, but really just crayons, and look at how cute he looks, okay? And then look, I even did a shadow right there in the top part of his hat, okay? Can't wait to see these. I know you guys are gonna do a great job and they're gonna look so cute. All right, see you next month.